Welcome to Reality Check. I'm Wang Guan. We're living in the era of post-truth politics, an era where everyone is entitled to not just their own opinions, but their own facts. I mean, climate change is a hoax. Obama is Muslim. Mask wearing violates your constitutional right. Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. And of course, China tariffs are great for America. And that's pathetic. Just take a look at some of the most recent headline stories on China from America's most watched cable news network.
The Biden administration is considering lifting some tariffs against China. This as several GOP lawmakers criticize the administration for sending some U.S. oil reserves to China.
The oil that is coming out of the emergency reserves in this country is going where? Not into the gas tanks of the American people. It's going to China.
It's outrageous.
The average American consumer who's struggling right now to pay for gas at the pump, what are they to think when they see President Biden releasing this, to Carly's point, to our enemy, to China?
In fact, Sinopec bought less than 1 million out of America's 30 million barrel release. The rest went to Europe and elsewhere. But in the age of alternative facts, truth doesn't matter. It's about who tells a better story. On China tariffs too, if Joe Biden lifts them all at once, the narratives would be, as it is already now, that Biden is soft on China. I mean, his approval ratings is already at a miserable 33%, a dangerously low number for a sitting president with midterm elections around the corner. But 4 years on, to what extent have China tariffs actually helped America? Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump, said it would reduce America's trade deficit with China, and that is a lie. Guys, that is a lie. Since the trade conflict, America's trade deficit with China did not shrink, and instead it hit record highs in 2018. In fact, economists would tell you it doesn't even make sense to look at trade this way. Not anymore. A value-added approach gives you a much clearer picture of what's really happening and who's getting the benefits. For example, companies in Japan, the US, and China collaborate to make a laptop computer. Japan exports $350 worth of computer components to China, while the US exports a $100 a monitor to China. China assembles them all and ships the laptop back to the US for sale at $500. If you use the conventional measure, there is a trade deficit, a loss of $400 for the US. But using value-added measurement, China's real profit is just $50, where $350 went to Japan and $100 to the US. Which measure makes more sense to you? Now, some 30 to 40% of China's exports to America are profits earned by China-based foreign companies or suppliers from other countries. Another assertion 4 years ago was that tariffs would help end China's unfair trade practices such as state subsidies. The thing is, all countries, including the United States, use its industrial policies to promote key domestic industries. Obama gave $500 million to Solyndra, a solar company in California. Trump gave $12 billion in financial aid to American farmers. And Biden, for God's sake, is taking a page straight out of China's playbook and pushed Congress to pass the largest industrial policy legislation in U.S. history to grow the country's strategic industries. Wow. People also say the trade war against China is good for intellectual property protection. That is a very real concern, and a legitimate one. But China's patent courts have progressed over the decades. Foreign plaintiffs are now more likely to win their cases than domestic Chinese firms. Payments for the use of foreign technology have quadrupled since 2005. Chances are, you will not hear these boring trend lines in mainstream media, which are dominated by sensational, if misleading, headlines. Tariffs hurt the heartland, and American NGO estimates that the total cost of Trump's trade war against China has cost America a staggering $121 billion. Based on monthly tariffs or tax on imports Americans have paid so far, every second the trade war drags on costs Americans $810. But again, in the era of post-truth politics where how to spin a story is more important than what's actually in a story, it is hard enough to reach consensus from across the political aisle within the United States, think about Roe v. Wade or gun control, let alone considering alternative views from China.